Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to this reaction to the Doctor Who Centenary special teaser that was aired at the end of Legend of the Sea Devils, the recent 2022 Easter special for Doctor Who, and the second and penultimate of the 2022 Series 13 Season 39 specials. So the Centenary special will be the third and the final of these specials, and it will be the 13th Doctor's final story, as well as showrunner Chris Chibnall's final story and the 300th Doctor Who story overall, celebrating the BBC's 100th anniversary or centenary. And the teaser mostly focuses on the 13th Doctor coming to the end of her life. The Master is assembling his forces of darkness against her, as Time said at the end of Flux. I did honestly think that maybe that was going to be a red herring. The Master would be in the episode, but the forces of darkness weren't going to be controlled by him. It would be somebody else, and it was going to be a red herring, like the He Will Not Four Times thing from the 2008 to 10 specials, where we thought, oh, it's going to be the Master who causes the Doctor to die with the four knocks, but in the end, it turned out to be Wilf. However, it's still possible maybe the Master isn't actually the big baddie of the Centenary special. Maybe there's somebody else involved as well, but that's yet to be seen. We'll have to wait 6 months or so till we find out what happens. But from the looks of this teaser, the Master, the Daleks, and the Cybermen seem to be teaming up to try and kill the Doctor. Yaz may, by the looks of it, might either be swapping sides or is trying to save the Doctor, one or the other. Dan's there trying to do his thing. Kate Stewart's been captured by Simon, and in a surprise twist, Ace and Tegan are coming back. Okay, I did not expect Tegan to come back. I had heard rumours about Ace possibly coming back, and Ace is all like Captain Jack and Rose and River Song. Ace is one of those characters who's always theorised to be coming back every other year. Honestly, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Captain Jack was initially going to be in this, but with the whole John Barrowman situation, they probably thought maybe better not. I have heard Graham and Ryan are going to come back, but we'll see how that goes. Bradley Bush has apparently been seen in Cardiff, and Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor is apparently going to be coming back as well, but we'll see if those characters will be in the special. But surprisingly, Tegan's not a character I was expecting to be in this episode. Ace, I wouldn't have been surprised, but Tegan, okay, not disappointed. In fact, I'm pretty looking forward to seeing Ace and Tegan teaming up and doing Tortured style machine gun things, and Ace getting back in her jacket and whacking a Dalek, as we see in the clips. So that's exciting. I wonder if Nis is going to be in it, because Russell T Davies, I know he's not writing this episode, but he officially made Nissa and Tegan a couple in the Farewell Sarah Jane Smith audio, quarter of an hour audio thing to send off the Sarah Jane adventures. That was released 2 years ago for the Stolen Earth Journey's End lockdown watch through. Maybe Nis is going to be in this. I'm not sure. I wonder if Chris Chibnall's seen the Farewell Sarah Jane Smith thing. Then again, on the other hand, it doesn't make entirely sense if you're going from the TV series how Nissa is on the Lepar ship and then suddenly she's with Tegan. But if you take expanded media into account, things get even more complicated. So that's not worth thinking about it. Just say she ended up going to live with Tegan afterwards. But yeah, I no sign of Nissa, so that's just speculation at the moment. But what we do know is that the Master is going to capture the Doctor, and he's going to end up trying to kill her / try to make her regenerate. Yaz might have an allegiance swap, possibly, which would be a shame because we've seen her starting to fall for we've seen her kind of obsessed and fall in love with the Doctor over the course of the second half of Series 12, or maybe throughout Series 12, and then it's been building up throughout Series 13, and in the last 2 specials, she's definitely been, like, really in love with the Doctor, and they seem to be starting something at the end of Legend of the Sea Devils. They seem to be starting something, and yeah, it would be nice if Yaz was still with the Doctor in the last episode, if they still were a couple or at least friends, and she did not turn on the Doctor and join the Master. But we'll see how that goes. She has a gun at some point in the TARDIS, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Or maybe she's just upset. We're also going to see Vinda back, and whilst it's great to see Vinda, and hopefully Belle as well, I really hope it's not going to be revealed in this episode that their baby is the Doctor or something stupid like that. That's what we were worried was going to be at the end of Flux. And thank, as the Bond fans say, thank the Broccolis they did not do that. This is a Doctor Who video. Thank Rassilon they didn't say that the Doctor was the baby Belle was pregnant with at the end of Flux. However, with one more episode left and with the whole Timeless Child stuff coming, I would not be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Belle and Vinda's child turned out to be the Doctor and it got sent through some gateway or something, or accidentally abandoned, and then or somehow flown back in time or something. Tech-Team picks it up and then raises it to be the Doctor, etc. In fact, Chris Chibnall, you've got 90 minutes. Well, I don't know if it's 90 minutes. You've got one episode. Feature-length episodes, that could be 75, 80 minutes or more. I'm hoping it's going to be 90, which would make it the longest episode since The Five Doctors. Even the TV movie wasn't even 90 minutes exactly. That was about 85, 86. But, okay, now let's aim for an hour and a half. An hour and a quarter to an hour and a half. You've got that amount of time, or at the very least one more hour, at least an hour, to wrap up this giant story arc that's been meandering for the last 2 to 4 years. And it's time to wrap it up. It's because you're going, Jodie's going, Russell's coming in, and you yourself said you expect him to ignore what you've done. So you've got one more episode to wrap it all up, otherwise it's going to be a lot of loose ends that ultimately will feel like it's come to nothing. Because I'm not really a fan of the Timeless Children arc, per se, but, I will accept it. I will accept it as part of chronologically canon, etc. I accept it, even if I'm not a fan of it, just so long as it gets wrapped up. Hopefully in a good way, unlike how Timeless Child set up the bigger stuff. But yeah, ultimately, from the trailer, from what we're looking at the very least, we're looking at the Master having one more, Sacha Dhawan Master having one more fight with Jodie Whittaker's 13th, and a couple of old friends are coming in to try and help stop the Masters. Ace, Tegan, they're coming in to help. Kate, who gets captured by Sidemen. Dan and maybe Yaz, I'm not sure about this point. And Graham and Ryan, maybe, possibly Nissa. If they're okay with John Barrowman in it, maybe Captain Jack. I wouldn't be surprised and maybe the Fugitive Doctor. I would not be surprised if Jack Robertson, played by Chris Nooth, also popped up for one more appearance. I would not be surprised. And in fact, this could have been this is a good episode to bring back some of the older series 11, 12, 13 characters. Oh yeah, Vinda and possibly Belle. Oh, it'd be great if Carvanista was in it as well. Oh, that'd be great. Craig Elms played the Sea Devil leader in the latest episode. It'd be great for him to come back as Dogman Carvanista for one more battle, and he's also quite crucial for the Division stuff as well. So it'd be interesting. Yeah, this is going to be a really big, interesting, hopefully epic, and hopefully good episode. And the teaser is definitely giving us a good amount of stuff to go by. Not sure exactly what Dan is doing in is it Dan or the 13th Doctor? I've seen pictures of both. Not sure what they're going to be doing, but it's nice to see the orange face spacesuits that were first introduced in Series 2 that the 10th through to 12th Doctors have worn. Did 13 wear one once? Might have. But since the 10th Doctor, they've worn orange spacesuits that would have. And well, for the one the 10th Doctor wore the first time round would have initially have come from the Sanctuary base in the Impossible Planet. And then he kept his one and it came back in Waters of Mars. He had a different one in 42. That was one on the ship they had. And then 11 obviously would have kept that same spacesuit there. But by the time the 12th Doctor started rocking up one, he seemed to have gotten a collection as Clara and what was her name? Courtney also had orange spacesuits. So I think the orange spacesuit from Impossible Planet Satan Pit has now just become the defunct Doctor Companions TARDIS team spacesuit costumes from this point onwards, excluding 42 and a couple of other spacesuit costumes. But yeah, it's interesting to see Dan in the spacesuit, the orange spacesuit, and it'd be interesting to see what role the Daleks and the Cybermen play. We didn't see any clip of the Cyber Masters. We just saw the normal Series 12 Cybermen. But that does bring me actually to another character who's coming back that I did not expect to come back. Ashad, the lone Cyberman. He got miniaturized in the Timeless Children, and that was it from him. And now he's coming back. Hopefully this episode will then redeem him after that episode, because it was amazing in Haunting Villa Diodati. He was great, he was great in Essential Assignment. Some people said he was a little underserved there. I can understand why, but I think he was still pretty great. And then Timeless Children, he was swept away to make way for the Master. Great. Just great. Hopefully this time round, even though he's still playing second fiddle to the Master, and that's if the Master is the main baddie, and there isn't a secret other big bads somewhere around like Omega or Rassilon, the latter of whom I have heard rumours about. I have heard rumours of a female Rassilon. So unless there's another secret big bad, then the Master should be the main villain, and the Shad should be the second main, which will likely be a secondary main villain. So hopefully he'll be done a bit more justice this time round. And in the case of the an even bigger big bad, the Master will probably still be the main focus of the main threat, but he might not be the big bad. It might be an end of time situation where there is a Rassilon or somebody else is above him. Not necessarily even him working for them, but more so they are an even greater threat that they've got to stop in the end. It's possible. It's honestly, after Hellbent, it's possible Rassilon could have come back and done stuff at any point to the Doctor out of revenge or anything. And honestly, I'd bring more on Stephen Moffat than Chris Chibnall. But with the whole Timeless Child stuff and the Master discovering it, Rassilon might now think, okay, now's my chance. So it's possible we could get Rassilon again. It's possible we could get the return of Omega, which I know Confused Daddy Pose really wants. He really wants Omega to come back. He's basically putting him in every other theory video about who the big bad at the end of the 13th Doctor's era is going to be. His big theory is it's going to be Omega. Oh, if only it was Omega. I actually kind of thought that might be the main villain of Flux, the person Swarm and Azul were going to be serving. Our Master! And it turned out to be Omega. It didn't, which was a shame. I would have liked for it to be Omega. Then again, on the other... Yeah, actually, no, Antimatter. I was going to say maybe it didn't quite fit Omega's style. But on the other hand, actually, Antimatter, that is definitely an Omega thing. See 3 Doctors, 5 Doctors, not 5 Doctors, Arc of Infinity. Same year, but different story. But yeah, it'd actually be really cool to see Omega back. And I think, and another thing Confused Daddy Police was theorizing is that we were going to build up to Omega being the big bad of the 60th anniversary. Actually, that's what his theory videos were about. About 2 years ago, he was theorizing that we're building up to Omega's appearance at the end of the 60th anniversary. That would have been epic, actually. That would have been epics. But Russell T Davies will probably have somebody else as the big bad for the 60th anniversary. On the other hand, maybe he might have Omega. But until then, we've got the Centenary special to focus on. Russell T Davies is still yet to come. But before we get to it, we can still get excited about what his era is going to be like. But we've still got one more episode of the 13th Doctor's era left and Chris Chibnall's era left. And once that's over, then it's time to get really, really excited for what will come later in the future. I was going to say later in the year for some reason. It won't be. It'll probably be 13. It'll probably be the 60th anniversary is apparently going to be the first episode of RTD Era 2. So there'll be a 13-month wait between episodes. Not even a festive special. And people are wondering whether Doctor Who being on Christmas Day instead of New Year's Day is better or not. I say at least New Year's Day is festive. Also, people were complaining about the quality of the Christmas specials before they stopped being on before they moved to New Year's Day, and actually they've gotten better. So, yeah. This isn't all the Christmas specials, just I actually like Return of Doctor Mysterio quite a bit. But this is just in general fandom base. But yeah. Okay, now I've just been babbling for 15 minutes, not just about this Centenary special teaser, just babbling about the show in general. I guess that this video pretty much sums up me as a person, as a Doctor Who fan. I just talk about the show, relevant to the topic or not, but maybe still tying it into the topic. So yeah, Centenary special. It's looking awesome. Fingers crossed the writing's going to be good. If it's at least, as I mentioned at the end of my Legend of the Sea Devils first viewing reaction, if it's at least better than Ascension of the Sidemen and the Timeless Children, which set up, it gave us an answer of what is the Timeless Child, and then set up this even bigger mystery around it. If it can at least pay this all off better than how Ascension Timeless set it up, and also if it can pay it off better than how Flux handled it, specifically the last 2 episodes, then I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be in good territory if it can at least it can resolve it pretty well as still be a great story in its own right, which I think is probably what, whilst Flux succeeded there, more or less, I think Ascension Timeless didn't, especially Timeless, where it just basically, it was focused, it was trying to set this all up at the same time to tell the second half of the story it started, or third part, if you count it starting with it haunting, but still. Hopefully it will wrap it all up. Like I said, if it's going to be feature length, hopefully it will be at least 75 minutes, maybe even 90, and hopefully it'll have all that time to wrap up this arc, wrap up the characters, do the plot of the episode, bring in these other characters. Some we've seen in previous episodes of the series, some are coming back for the first time in several years, not including minisodes and audios and stuff. Like first television episodes for Ace, it's since Survival, not including the season 26 teaser trailer, and for Tegan since Resurrection of the Daleks, those are 1989 and 1984 respectively. Again, not including the season 19 block box set trailer for Tegan. Surprisingly, Ace says it's only been 3 decades since she last saw the Doctor, whilst Tegan it's been 4. So, I mean, I guess for Ace, we can assume that in her point of view, she left sometime during the mid-90s, just before the 7th Doctor went off to collect the Master's remains in time for the start of the TV movie. There's plenty of expanding media adventures with all of them, and they have several different explanations for Ace. And also she goes to Gallifrey for a bit. The Gallifrey audios are quite in depth about that, and then she comes back to Earth, sets up her own charity, helps the class crew out, and goes off in another adventure with the 7th Doctor, as the season 26 box set implies. And also there's the down there somewhere, there's the At Childhood's End book, which sees Ace reunite with the 13th Doctor. So I would not be surprised if this episode actually kind of referenced that. I wouldn't be surprised if Ace said, "Oh, I've actually met this incarnation," and the audience like, "When'd she do that?" And we who know about the book would be like, "Ah, that's a reference to the book, At Childhood's End." Or maybe they'll just ignore it. Actually, to be honest, I think that we should have had an episode with Ace with 13 already, so that it would make a bit more sense. Oh well. Yeah, the book should have been an episode. Yeah, the book should be an episode. Never mind. Hope they might reference that. I'm not going to say they are going to reference it. They might reference it. I'm not sure. As with Tegan, I guess they just wanted another classic companion, and they weren't going to get Captain Jack, and they weren't going to have River Song or someone. Maybe they wanted someone to help. Maybe someone wanted someone from Unit, but they couldn't get Benton or Osgood or something, so they brought in Tegan. Or maybe Janet Fielding just really wanted to come back. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how this all plays out as well. And would there be any more classic or new series companions coming back as well? Is anybody else interested? Catherine Tate was rumoured for quite a while to be coming back, but that was more for this. Yeah, actually, yeah, was rumoured to be involved in Series 13 or to be involved in RTD Era 2. So, it's not out of the possibility for some other people to come back. to be in it. Like I said, I'm theorising some people who could realistically still be in it, besides Ryan and Graham, who are rumoured to be in it, as is Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor. I would not be surprised if Chris Newth's Jack Robertson, possibly John Barrowman's Captain Jack, if they are distancing themselves from him, and if they are going to take RTD's Farewell Sarah Jane Smith audio thing into canonically accounted as canon to the TV series, which it should be. I personally do think it is, because it wraps up the Sarah Jane adventures nicely. If they take that into canon as well, they'd also have Nyssa as well. Possibly. This is just speculation. Oh, and the 14th Doctor, unless they do a War Games where they leave on a cliffhanger for 13 months. But apparently the 14th Doctor is going to be announced maybe soon, apparently. But, yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's possible we'll see the 14th Doctor at the end of the story, but they might do a War Games where they've already announced a new actor, but they don't film the post-regeneration scene. They leave it halfway through the regeneration. And in all honesty, I did not like that the War Games did that. I think they should have shown a bit of John Pertwee before the episode ended. This is why Season 6B exists, people. The Season 6B theory. And that's one of the theories about the Fugitive Doctor we discussed back in 2020. Mainly before the whole Timless Child reveal happened, but the whole Fugitive Doctor thing, that was one of the theories we discussed. And, if we do we might end up with another Season 6B theory if we have 13. Looks like she's going to regenerate and then somehow the Time Lords or the Division or something take her out of her timeline, have her do a couple missions for them, and then plot her back in the regeneration, and then she turns into 14. Honestly, actually, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Fugitive Doctor actually ended up being the Season 6B of Series 13, the Series 13B Doctor, and then the 14th Doctor is actually the 17th incarnation, because 13 is the 15th incarnation, which would then make the 14th Doctor. So with Fugitive Doctors put in the middle, then that would make her 16. So yeah, the 14th Doctor could end up being the 17th incarnation. Christ on a bike. But that's speculation. But yeah, on the whole, this is a pretty good teaser trailer, hoping for a fantastic episode. If it's at least better than Twice Upon a Time and Essential of the Simon Timeless Children, and also if we count up for showrunner and Doctor departure stories, and for 13th Doctor Chibnall Weir stories, and then I'll be happy. If it's better than those ones, then I'll be happy, even if it's just okay. It'll be disappointing, but if it's at least better than those two, I'll be okay. I'm good. And also wraps up the arc well. I'll go, okay, it's not the greatest episode. I'll be like, even if it's not the greatest episode ever, it's still better than those ones, so I'm okay with it. Okay, so that's it from me. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the Doctor Who chat, even if it wasn't always focused on the teaser or the upcoming episode. Don't forget to check out my first viewing reaction of Legend of the Sea Devils to see or hear what I had to say about that episode in first viewing reaction talk. A review of the episode will come at a later point after I rewatch it, and I'll go into a bit more details about the story, the characters, the plot, and my opinions on that. But yeah, check out the reaction now for my initial first viewing reactions. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.